The film opens in the dim light of an old, creaking washroom where a young girl named Ita is carefully washing her clothes. The quiet night air is heavy and still, interrupted only by the soft splash of water and her slow, methodical movements. Suddenly, a chilling sensation prickles her skin, the unmistakable feeling that she is not alone. She pauses, her breath catching in her throat, and slowly turns around. What she sees freezes her blood. Before her stands a figure, an ancient witch, perhaps, with ghostly white hair cascading in tangled strands. Ita's piercing cry shatters the stillness, drawing her friends rushing toward the washroom in alarm. The door bursts open, and Ita stands there, but she is no longer herself. Her eyes are vacant, her movements mechanical, as if her very soul has been wrenched from her body. She does not speak or blink. The film then flashes back to 2 days earlier, revealing the world before this darkness took hold. We find Ita and her childhood friend Maya engaged in a lively conversation, their youthful voices full of excitement and hope. Maya is preparing for a hiking trip with her brother and cousins and eagerly invites Ita to join them. But Ita hesitates, the shadow of doubt flickering in her eyes. She fears her mother's strict rules and worries whether permission will be granted. As they talk, Ita nervously runs her finger through her thick hair. Several strands slip free and cling stubbornly to her fingers. The sight seems to disturb her deeply, perhaps an unconscious sign of the turmoil growing inside her. The scene shifts to the following day. Maya arrives at Ita's home, determination etched on her face, to seek permission from Ita's mother. After tense negotiations and hesitation, Ita's mother finally consents. Joy fills the air as Ita eagerly prepares for the trip. That morning, as Ita steps outside to see Maya off, a sudden, eerie presence manifests. Maya's sharp eyes catch a sinister shadow lurking just behind Ita. Maya gasps and instinctively recoils, fear rooting her feet to the spot. Ita, oblivious, turns and looks behind her, puzzled, but sees nothing. The story progresses to the night of their arrival at the hiking destination. The friends, exhausted from their journey, find shelter in a rustic guest house nestled among the whispering pines. Darkness envelops the mountain. As night deepens, Ita's stomach clenches with a growing pain, sharp and insistent. When she confides in Maya, concern clouds her friend's face. "If you're feeling unwell," Maya says gently, "we can turn back. Hiking under these conditions isn't safe." But Ita, filled with determination and the longing to seize this rare chance, refuses. "I worked so hard to get permission," she says quietly. Later, Ita slips away to the washroom to wash her clothes, seeking a moment of quiet solitude. But there, she encounters the horrifying apparition. For the very first time, the ghostly old woman with wild white hair and blazing red eyes. The vision is so vivid, so terrifying. Her scream pierces the night, summoning her friends once again. They rush to her side, finding her standing frozen, her soul seemingly drained. They gently coax her inside, their voices trembling with concern. "What happened?" they ask urgently. With a trembling voice, Ita recounts the vision. A thin, towering figure with shining red eyes like glowing bulbs. An ancient woman whose presence chilled the very air. The owner of the guest house overhears the tale and pales. She shares a chilling story years ago. A similar creature had haunted these very woods, bringing misery and terror to those who dared to stay. One of the boys, his voice trembling, suggested nervously, "Maybe we should send Ita back home. If this evil is connected to her, it might be safer." But Maya, ever the steadfast friend, refused to entertain the thought. She knew how much Ita had longed for this trip, how hard she'd fought for her mother's permission. Sending her home now would crush her spirit, perhaps forever. Reluctantly, the others agreed, and the night passed with a tense quiet. But by morning, Ita's mood had transformed. Her eyes sparkled with excitement, her laughter infectious. No one could detect the shadows that had haunted her hours before. With renewed energy, the group gathered their belongings and set off on the trek. The towering mountains loomed ahead, cloaked in mist and mystery. Maya and Ita found themselves lost in the breathtaking beauty of the landscape. Crystal clear streams, ancient trees whispering secrets, and the scent of wildflowers carried on the cool breeze. Back at Ita's home, Her mother was cleaning when something caught her eye. Discarded in Ita's dustbin were clumps of hair and blood-stained tissues. A cold knot of worry twisted inside her. She confided her fears to Ita's father, who dismissed them with a shrug. These things happen. Don't worry too much. We'll take her to the doctor when she returns. Back on the mountain trail, Ita suddenly faltered. Fatigue washed over her like a dark wave. Her breath grew shallow and ragged, and when she sat down to rest, her eyes glazed over, shimmering with an unnatural light. Panic rippled through the group. Maya leaned close and whispered her name gently. Slowly, Ita blinked and came back to herself. After a few moments, they resumed their trek, though tension clung to them like a shadow. Halfway up the mountain, the group paused to rest and eat. Laughter and chatter filled the air as they shared snacks and jokes, but Ita's gaze drifted away, distant and troubled. Without warning, she slipped quietly away from the group and made her way toward a nearby lake. Maya, noticing her absence, followed quickly. Ita, you shouldn't wander off alone. This place isn't safe, she called softly, catching up to her friend. But as Maya turned toward Ita, a chill ran down her spine. Her eyes had turned a milky white, devoid of life. Before Maya could react, Ita's lips curled into a sinister smile as she suddenly grabbed Maya's throat. The commotion drew the boys rushing over, and after a desperate struggle, they managed to free Maya from Ita's grip. Maya's wide eyes caught sight of a figure standing in the center of the lake, a tall, ghostly woman draped in flowing white robes. The group, shaken and confused, brought Ita back to their quarters. They fanned a pungent herb under her nose, hoping to clear her mind. Slowly, Ita's eyes fluttered open, but when questioned about her strange behavior, she had no recollection. Maya's voice dropped to a whisper. I think you've been possessed by a spirit. Ita burst into a loud, incredulous laugh. Are you crazy? You've been watching too many horror movies. No one can be possessed like that. Her dismissive words did little to ease the group's growing dread, and they set off once more, the path winding steeply upward. As they climbed, an eerie feeling crept over them. Shadows flitted just beyond sight, and distant, childlike laughter echoed through the trees. Maya caught a glimpse of a dark shape darting between the branches, but kept her focus forward. Suddenly, an old man appeared on the trail ahead. As they approached, a deafening roar filled their ears, ringing with a piercing intensity that forced them to clutch their heads in pain. One by one, they collapsed, unconscious. When they awoke, the old man was gone. Whispers spread quickly. Some blamed Ita. Negative energy clings to her, a boy muttered. That's why these things are happening. Ita's glare silenced him, and the group pressed onward. But Ita's condition worsened. After drinking water, wrinkles deepened across her forehead, her face twisted grotesquely, her body stiffened, lips turned pale. A cruel smile curved her mouth, as if a sinister force had taken control. The same boy warned sharply, if she stays like this, we can't make it to the summit. At that moment, Ita's body shook violently. A chilling, unearthly laugh echoed, bouncing between the trees, freezing the group in terror. Maya, heart heavy with fear, pleaded, we should turn back. But Ita's eyes, now ghostly white and bloodshot, pierced through them. Go away, she hissed mysteriously. This mountain is mine now. Terrified, the group stepped back. Maya realized the truth. The entity that haunted Ita's house had possessed her completely. Ita's voice dropped to a deadly whisper. I will reach the summit, and I will kill anyone who stands in my way. With that, she strolled forward alone, disappearing swiftly from sight. Maya urged her brothers and cousins. We must follow her. They found Ita further up the mountain. Tears welled in Maya's eyes as she grasped her friend, begging her to stop. Ita sobbed. This trip, it will be the most important memory of my life. I can't leave it unfinished. Maya convinced the hesitant group to keep climbing, hoping the summit would bring clarity. As they ascended higher, Ita's condition deteriorated further, but she fought to hold herself together. Finally, under a canopy of stars, at nearly 3,000 meters, they reached the peak. They set up camp, but Ita's body stiffened again. Suddenly, she collapsed, trembling violently. Alarmed, everyone emerged from their tents, powerless against the dark forces overtaking their friend. With no other choice, desperate, they climbed down part of the mountain to find help. They came across an old man who lived nearby. The moment he saw Ita, he whispered something into her ear. Her eyes turned pitch black. Blue veins spread across her face. Her body twisted unnaturally, as though her bones were snapping one by one. The old man's chanting grew louder, and suddenly, just as quickly as it had begun, everything stopped. Ita went limp. Her breathing returned to normal. The entity had left for now. Meanwhile, far away at home, Ita's mother was offering her evening prayers. She suddenly froze, feeling the piercing gaze of unseen eyes. But when she looked around, no one was there. She told her husband, but he only laughed it off. Back in the mountains, Maya was trying to sleep when she awoke from a horrifying nightmare. She saw Ita fully possessed, her face transformed into the same monstrous entity that had haunted her visions. But when she sat up, her heart sank. Ita was gone. Maya rushed outside and spotted her. But when Ita turned around, her face was no longer hers. The nightmare was real. Maya slapped her, jolting her back to reality, and dragged her inside. By morning, the group began their descent. But once again, Ita was missing. Maya found her staring at a massive boulder. Ita whispered, "I don't want to leave. This mountain, it feels like home. I've never felt such peace." Maya didn't argue. They finally left and drove back to the city. When they reached Ita's house, she ignored her mother completely and went straight to her room. That night, her health collapsed again. She laughed hysterically, terrifying her parents. A religious scholar was called, but his prayers had no effect. She was rushed to the hospital. Doctors couldn't diagnose her condition, and her father's frustration boiled over. He blamed Maya. "If you hadn't taken her on that trek, my daughter would still be alive. Either you fix this, or I'll go to the police." Maya was shattered. She wasn't guilty, yet she was drowning in blame. Days passed. At midnight in the hospital, Ita once again saw the same tall, thin old witch from the start of the story. Her health spiraled until she was gone. Her sudden death shook the entire neighborhood. For months, Maya was haunted by guilt and grief. She dreamed of Ita almost every night. Until one day, a memory surfaced. The morning they left for the hike, Ita's father had handed her a small bundle and told her to throw it into the mountain lake. She had done it, and Maya had seen the same entity there. Horrified, Maya told Ita's mother. Curious and suspicious, her mother stormed into a locked room in their house where she found her husband performing black magic rituals. The truth spilled out. His business had been failing, and he suspected the enemy had cursed him. A tantric had given him a cursed doll to throw far away, never thinking it could backfire. But the curse had latched onto Ita instead, draining her life. Her mother broke down, accusing him of killing their daughter. He wept too, claiming he never imagined this outcome. But it was too late. He had paid the price for his own wrongdoing. Life slowly moved on. Months later, the same group of friends went hiking again in Ita's memory. And there, at a familiar spot on the mountain, Maya saw a shadow, Ita's shadow. She spoke to it softly, and in that moment, we knew Maya had never truly let her go. The screen fades to black. The story ends. Thank you for watching.